In the headlines, National Economic Council announces 5 billion naira to each of the 36 states as palliatives to cushion hardship. Kaduna residents react to ministerial portfolio as state awaits appointment. World Health Organization, U.S. health authorities tracking new COVID-19 variants. And from the international scene, Senegalese opposition leader Ousmane Sonko in intensive care after hunger strike. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thank you for joining us. And now the details. The National Economic Council has acknowledged the federal government's approval of 5 billion naira to each of the 36 states to elevate the effect of the fuel subsidy removal on vulnerable Nigerians. The federal government has approved 5 billion naira for each state of the federation in form of grants and loans. Governor of Borno State, Babagana Zulum, disclosed this to the newsmen in the State House, Abuja, on Thursday after meeting with the council. Kehinde Amadu reports.
The federal government's release of 5 billion naira to each state is to finance the procurement of 100,000 bags of rice and 40,000 bags each of maize and fertilizers. 52% of the funds will be given to states as grants, while 48% of the 5 billion naira is to be paid back on an installmental basis within a period of 20 months to the Central Bank of Nigeria.
In order to cushion the effect of the subsidy removal, the federal government of Nigeria has released 5 trucks of rice to each state last week.
The council is also concerned about the instability of the naira, which seemed to have been worsened by the unifying of the foreign exchange markets. But Governor of Anambra State is quick to point out that the foreign exchange volatility goes beyond the present economic reforms. Rather, he explains that it is rooted in some monetary decisions taken by the previous administration.
There was no way you were going to avoid forex volatility, as it were. If you just printed 22, 23 trillion naira pumped into the system with nothing to back it by way of ways and means, which was what happened under the previous regime. There is no way you will pump all of those and not expect prices, inflation, and exchange rate to give way.
The council also gave an update on measures to mitigate the effects of floods last year, for which a committee was set up by NEC. Though it expressed concerns over the inability of 15 states to submit reports of impact assessments of the floods in their states, the federal government will soon release funds to the affected areas. Nevertheless, Kogi State Governor stresses that before any palliatives, the state governors had already intervened to provide instant remedy to affected persons.
Every state is affected. And let me tell you, before any palliative or before any assistance comes from any donor agency or federal government, every state makes effort to ensure that we take the peoples off harm's way.
Meanwhile, the state of the excess crude account for the past 1 month stands at $473.754 million, while the natural resources account till date stands at 115.175 billion naira. From State House Abuja, Kehinde Amadu, Trust TV News.
Some residents of Jos, the Plateau State capital, are lamenting the high cost of food items in the market, saying the situation is gradually going beyond their reach. Some of the residents who spoke to Trust TV say life has become very difficult and are calling on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to urgently do something to take Nigerians out of the present economic hardship. Ado Musa completes the report.
It is general knowledge that the high cost of basic food items such as maize, rice, beans, Yam, among others, have become a topic of discussion, not only among low-income earners, but also the middle class in recent time. At every gathering, marketplaces, organizations, deliberations on the high cost of living have become the order of the day. Some residents in Jos say, although they have come to terms with the situation as the will of Allah, it is high time the federal government did something to cushion the effect of the current economic hardship in the country. Honestly, life has become somehow. When you compare life in those days and now, you will know that we are in a difficult situation. I remember there was a time we bought a bag of maize at 1,000 naira, but today we are buying one mudu of corn flour at 1,000 naira. We are begging those in power to come to our aid. Life has much changed that many households cannot afford food because of the economic hardship. Our leaders should have pity on us. They should know that we voted them into power not to make life unbearable for us. We know that Allah is aware of the situation. Our leaders should know that we are suffering. They should know that life is very difficult for us now. I bought one mudu of corn flour at 1,100 naira, and that will not be enough for the family. Idris Yahaya, who sells corn flour, explains why the product is costly at the moment. We sell 1 kg of corn flour at the rate of 850 naira at the moment, and this is as a result of the high cost of maize in the market. Maize is very scarce in the market. Added to that is cost of transporting the maize. Transportation has become very expensive, and that is why the corn flour is expensive too. Many families across Nigeria are calling on the federal government to come up with a sustainable measures that will help cushion the effect of the economic hardship in the country. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Following speculations about another possible increase in the price of fuel, residents of Gombe State have called on the federal government to intervene. Such intervention, they say, is to ensure that prices of commodities do not increase beyond what they presently are and subject Nigerians to further hardship. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
This week, the dollar gained significantly against the Nigerian naira at the importers and exporters window, exchanging above 900 naira per dollar. The development has triggered speculations of a possible increase in price of petrol, as marketers claim that the price of fuel now be determined by market forces. But Nigerians are still struggling to survive due to earlier increases that shot the price to 650 naira. They say they may not be able to afford another pump price increase.
So I don't think it will be conducive for the price to go beyond 600 naira, because we are already complaining as the price is on 600 naira. So if it's too high again, so I minimize a lot of things. I had to even drop my car just to join a public vehicle to office, because using my car will not be an economic to me.
Muhammad Bashir is an artisan who supported the implementation of the removal of fuel subsidy when it was first announced by President Bola Tinubu. But he is now feeling the impact.
Because ordinary Nigerians, we are suffering, and we don't expect such thing from this government. Before, we have hope or optimism that everything goes as we wish. But at the end of the day, what we are experiencing now, we found it very difficult to be candid, in fact.
Although the federal government has repeatedly ruled out any plan to increase fuel price, Nigerians are still monitoring for any eventuality. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Gombe.
A few few hours after the announcement of portfolios for President Tinubu's ministers designate, Nigerians, including residents of Kaduna State, have been reacting to the development, especially with the absence of former Governor Nasir El-Rufai or any nominee from Kaduna State. While many have expressed confidence in the ability of the appointees to deliver on their mandate, others are a bit skeptical following the peculiarities of the present-day Nigeria. Trust TV's Bello Musa went round the metropolis and sent in the report. Take a look.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has assigned portfolios to the ministers designate, who were recently screened by the Senate. However, the portfolio of the Ministry of Environment has been allocated to Kaduna State, but no nominee has been assigned to it, a situation that is generating reactions in the states.
Considering Kaduna issue, despite that we all know that there has been a kind of issue on ground regarding Malam Nasir El-Rufai rejecting the ministerial appointment given to him after being after all the series of drama that took place during after the screening. So for now, we can say if justice has been done to Kaduna.
And to me, I will say it is a great disappointment to Kaduna State by the Senate, by the senators, all the senators, including the Senate President. Because in Kaduna State, we have submitted the names of Malam Nasir El-Rufai, who we are expecting to be the minister in Nigeria.
What is on the lips of Nigerians today is how qualified are these people in their respective ministries, and how can they discharge their duty in the best interest of Nigerians? How can they discharge their duty to meet the yearnings of Nigerians?
Some are of the view that the development is creating political tension in the state, adding that failure by the Senate to confirm the immediate past governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, as ministerial due to security report by the DSS has created apprehension in the state.
If you look at the social media and the media entirely, from there you can notice that majority of the people of Kaduna State are not happy.
The portfolios assigned to the ministers is also a subject of discussion among many Nigerians.
The composition of this ministerial list, which they are going to pilot in the affairs of government in the next, let's say, 4 years or something like that. At least we see, or we expected to see a new people, new blood. Despite the fact that a little bit, he just taking young people among the ministerial list.
Exactly, it is more of rewarding than competency, because I have said there are many that are competent, vibrant youth that if brought into the cabinet will deliver and bring in new and fresh ideas. But these ones that are being brought, most of them have participated in the 8 years governance of former President Muhammadu Buhari. And I have had the opportunity of hearing from the present National Security Advisor to the President saying that all the problems being faced presently by this government were inherited from the former government.
Earlier, it was reported that the former governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, suggested his former commissioner, Jafar Sani, from Zone 1 as his replacement, but that is said to materialize as Kaduna is still not represented at the moment. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Nigerian youths have been encouraged to commit themselves to the country's unity as exemplified by elder statesman Chief Edwin Clark, who played numerous roles during his time of service, consolidating democratic governance and promoting national cohesion. The call was made by prominent political actors in Abuja at the public presentation of the book Brutally Frank, an autobiography of the 96-year-old nationalist. The report.
Unity, peace, and progress are among the qualities that keep a nation. These have been the commitment of Chief Edwin Clark, as exemplified during the administration of the former head of state, Yakubu Gowon, when he served as the Federal Commissioner for Information and Foreign Affairs, explaining government policies, enhancing national unity as a public officer, which is now embraced as a guide to the younger generation.
And when I listened to him, I saw a person whose vision was for Nigeria, whose vision was for the security of this country, whose vision was for the unity of this country. Ike Clark is one of those few Nigerians that the name should be written in letters of gold in our political history.
We pray that since he's being a good man, and the Southers and the rest of Nigeria respect him and respect his opinion, I think he deserves being respected.
Following the roles played in leading the country to the path of prosperity, peace and unity after the Civil War, former head of state Yakubu Gowon called on Nigerians to stay united, fulfill their potentials, irrespective of the current realities.
One had hoped that things would be better, that we've learned our lesson. We fought each other, but we came back together with a genuine intent that Nigeria would be better. And I prayed, that Nigeria will never again go through, what we've gone through, during that time. And honestly, I feel very sad, very bad, the way, all this problem we're having in all parts of the country. Is it Boko Haram, banditry? Is it kidnapping? Is it, my goodness.
Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, while commending the diverse cultural, religious backgrounds of Nigerians in maintaining the country as an entity, urged Nigerians to bear the current pains and sufferings following the sudden removal of the fuel subsidy.
Palliatives are being put in place. 100 trucks, fertilizers have been sent to the states. 100 trucks of grains have been sent, and more are coming, and more buses are also coming. We can endure this for a moment. What we're going through today is for better tomorrow.
Key political actors say the Nigerian nation could gather in this befitting manner to honor Chief Edwin Clark and pay deserving respects to his towering legacy of national service to keep Nigeria one as a task that must be done. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
You're watching News Update on Trust TV. Coming up, we'll take a look at tertiary health institution set for open heart surgery. This and more after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Trust TV News Update, and here is a recap of our top stories. We brought you National Economic Council announces 5 billion naira to each of the 36 states as palliatives to cushion hardship. And Kaduna residents react to ministerial portfolio as states await appointment. Now moving on to more stories, the World Health Organization and U.S. health authorities said on Friday that they are closely monitoring a new variant of COVID-19, although the potential impact of BA 2.86 is currently unknown. The WHO classified the new variant as one under surveillance due to the large number, more than 30, of spike gene mutations it carries. It wrote in a bulletin about the pandemic late Thursday. Now, so far, the variant has only been detected in Israel, Denmark, and the United States. The U.S. Center for Disease Control, the CDC, confirmed it as also closely monitoring the variant in a message on the social platform X, formerly known as Twitter. There are only 4 known consequences of the variant, the WHO has said. The WHO is currently monitoring upwards of the 10 variants and their descent lineages. In the last reporting period between July 17th and August 13th, more than 1.4 million new cases of COVID-19 were detected and more than 2,300 deaths reported, according to the WHO statement. The case load represents a rise by 63% from the previous 28-day period, while deaths were down by 56%. As of August 13th, there were more than 769 million cases of COVID-19 confirmed and more than 6.9 million deaths worldwide, although the real toll is expected to be much higher because many cases went undetected. Still on health matters, doctors at the Aminu Kano Teaching Hospital, Kano, are set to commence open-heart surgery provided all necessary facilities are made available. Trust TV correspondent Idris Jibrin reports that over 10 people have so far undergone successful cardiac surgery during training organized by King Salman Humanitarian and Relief Center for surgeons at the Aminu Kano Teaching Hospital. Take a look.
Open heart or cardiac surgery has for long remained unavailable at the Aminu Kano Teaching Hospital due to the lack of adequate healthcare facilities and poor training of doctors to effectively carry out the exercise.
Initially, the problem is we don't have heart-lung machine at all. And we have now, we have donation. This heart-lung machine was donated to us by NNPC.
In order to assist the nation's healthcare institutions, King Salman Humanitarian and Relief Center organized a medical outreach of cardiac surgery for 14 people in Kano.
This program is good. This is for introduction. I think this is the introduction to cardiac surgery. I feel that this hospital has potential to start the cardiac surgery. They have good staff, they have good equipment now. Only I think cardiopulmonary bypass machine was deficient. We have that.
The idea, however, is to give local doctors an opportunity to further train themselves on the best way to conduct an open surgery, which has been lacking since the beginning of the hospital.
There are some sophisticated operations that we don't do due to lack of necessary equipment. We thank God King Salman brought some instruments that we use. This instrument we used to operate on patients without touching them. We call it endourology. So we are fortunate to have this instrument brought to us, and it assisted us really in doing these operations. So when we operate, patient doesn't stay longer because of the advancement in technology.
According to the local lead consultant surgeon with the AKTH, for now, they have almost all the facilities and necessary knowledge to commence open heart surgery, but they are waiting for their perfusionist to return from training in India. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
And now from the international scene, opposition leader Ousmane Sonko, at the center of a crisis that has rocked Senegal ahead of presidential elections, has been admitted to intensive care after launching a hunger strike, his lawyers said on Thursday. Sonko began the protest on July 30th after he was accused of fanning deadly violence between his supporters and the security forces. He was admitted to intensive care at Dakar's main hospital, said one of his lawyers, Cyril Cledoli. The attorney, who said that he went to the intensive care unit on Thursday, said Sonko lost consciousness on Wednesday. Another lawyer, Bamba Sise, also said Sonko was in intensive care, while Sonko's Facebook page said that he had been brought in on Wednesday evening after falling ill. Sonko has been in hospital while under detention since August 6th, when he was admitted for emergency care. Details of his condition are unclear. The 49-year-old has forged a wide following among Senegal's young youth through fiery attacks on resident or President Macky Sall, portraying him as a would-be dictator and head of a corrupt elite. On June 1st, he was handed a 2-year prison term following a trial on charges of moral corruption of a young beauty salon worker. The government has expressed doubts that he is genuinely observing a hunger strike. And finally, in sports, Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki has continued to inspire players and officials of Bendel Insurance ahead of their CAF Confederation Cup preliminary round clash against Aso Clef of Algeria. Obaseki paid a surprise visit to the team during their evening training session at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium on Thursday. The match is scheduled to kick off at 4 p.m. at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium on Saturday. The governor, who was accompanied by top government functionaries, including the Speaker of the Edo State House of Assembly, Blessing Agbebaku, and other honorable members, boosted the morale of the team with 5 million naira cash to further motivate the players ahead of the big clash. And with that, we wrap up news updates on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms, and you can join our live for more news, documentaries, and programs. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thanks for watching.